Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. I'm your host, Cooley. Tonight is debate night. We got another live great show tonight planned for y'all. The last live stream that I just did, I'm not sure what happened. I used Restream. It just canceled out. So we had to went ahead and started this other live stream. But let's hop into the intro again and let's get things started. Actually, Gabby, off. You done. And you want to leave too? This is how our relationship goes. God over man, man over woman, woman over children. All right, if you tuned in right now, man, go ahead and get the likes on up, man. Let's get this pushed into the algorithm. I didn't do an open debate night in it's been about a month since I did an open debate night. I've been doing formal debates with a few of the college students that Charlie Kirk had debated. So we got a few links in the description to everyone that's new to tonight's show. Go ahead and click in the description. We do have, the first link, if you want to go ahead and join this stream, it's going to be the first link. Go ahead and click that first link. Any haters, any people with different opinions or perspectives, or, if you have some points of contention or things you disagree with when you watch my content or my clips, click that first link, man, and I'll go ahead and bring you on up and we could have a debate about it. So that's going to be the link in the description. We also have our sponsorship link in there as well. We also have our membership link. If you like this podcast and you want to continue to watch it grow, go ahead and click that link. And we have 3 tiers: gang, hitman, and mob ties. You join any of those tiers, you locked in with us, you family. You get immediate access to me via Instagram. We also got the Discord link that's been growing. Go ahead and hop in the Discord, man. I like when y'all get in there and y'all communicate. Come up with some topics for the debate night. Come up with some topics for when we do the late night show with the ladies. So that's a good little community in there where y'all could, talk amongst one another. We also have one-on-one coaching. I coach men on masculinity as well as dating and relationships. I coach women as well. I do couples coaching too. And I also do media and marketing coaching. So go ahead and click that link if you need some coaching. We also have the merch store, my famous glasses that I always wear, the Mr. Man glasses. And then we also have the t-shirts, the God over man, man over woman, woman over children t-shirts. We already sold out of those, but we already stocked back up. So let's get it. If you could hear my voice, I am a little under the weather, man. I was out traveling. So a lot of y'all was hitting me up, hitting the team up like, yo, y'all ain't do a live stream in 2 weeks. Bro, I was sick. Then I was traveling. Then got a little sick again. It was crazy, bro. But yeah, man, I'm here. So quick update to everyone that's tuned in. We are doing 2 shows for the end of the month. So we got this Friday's episode. It's not going to be a Halloween episode. It's going to be a regular girl show. And then the week after that, we do have the Halloween episode. I know y'all liked it last year. We're going to do it even bigger this year. But let's get some people in here. So if you hear the debate, click that first link, man. Don't be scared. I'll bring you on up. I think we got someone in here already, though, so I'm going to bring them up now. Let's see. What's going on, man? Welcome to No Fugazee. State your name and where you're from.
Hey, how you doing? Caps and Full from Brooklyn.
From Brooklyn. Okay. Talk to me. What you want to talk about today, man?
Well, it's a theory, but it's got to lead up to it because I'm not sure if it's going to be a debate because I'm on the same program that you're on. You know what I'm saying? God over man, man over woman, and woman over child. So
Yeah.
it's actually trying to get some questions, and it might come into a debate. I don't know. I'm not sure. But my thing is, I'm going to pick two letters, C and or C or F, and I'll get to that later on. But I want to know when they say God is good and they say all the time, what do you mean by that? And I want to know your meaning, and I'm going to explain what you're saying to me so you can understand where I'm coming from with that
Got you. I want to make sure I understand this. Is a weird question. So you said when they say God is good, what does it mean?
all the time.
Okay, so when they say God is good all the time, what does that mean?
Exactly. And your meaning.
See, I'm very linear. It means exactly what it means. God is good all the time. So even though we may not perceive things or to be able to, conceptualize, the
Yeah.
things that happen in the world, like, okay, there's weather and storms that's, killing people and, babies and things like that. We may be like, well, why would God allow that to happen? You know what I mean? We can say violence, gun violence, and famine and poor people in other countries and many things. We could see that like, well, if God is always good, why would He allow this to happen? So that's because people have a limited mind of how they think. I look at it like, well, God gave us free will, so things are going to happen, right? With that being said, that's love. So that's good. That's good all the time. God isn't trying to control us or restrain us. You know what I mean? And the reason why God acts in a sense is because we could look at it from anything. Say if you're in a relationship and you're trying to control your girl. Yeah, I don't want you going outside. Women are going to the club. I don't want you doing this. And say she doesn't do it because you're controlling the situation. Not only saying that you don't want her to do it, but you're actually maybe putting locks on the door. You're going to the extremes. Would you really know if that woman truly, genuinely loves you? No, you won't know if that woman truly, genuinely loves you because you're trying to restrain her. You're trying to control the situation. So you won't know if things are genuine. And that's the same thing with free will. God gives us free will because He loves us. And not only that, He wants to receive love back because that's the only way He can know if it's genuine, since He gives us free will and we're not robots. So yeah, God is good all the time. I would say that the reason He's good all the time is because He gave us free will.
I agree. And under any circumstances, God is good all the time. I agree with you. Like I said, the letter C and the F, choice or free will, basically. Um, but my thing is that the way I see it, I think we see it the same thing. God is good, so that means anything He creates in goodwill, and not in any other, no other way. His intent is good. He made this world to be good. He made humans, beings, to be good. Um, so my question is, where sin, the sin of desire, not on earth, but on heaven, in heaven, how did that create it? How did that happen to Lucifer?
It's a good question. I would say that same thing as it is on heaven, as it is on earth. So as it is on heaven, as it is on earth. So the angels and things had free will too. This is how they were able to sin. This
Okay.
is how people on earth are able to sin. It started with, Eve biting the apple and then Adam being a simp and following her and biting that apple too. So, yeah, man, to answer that, as it is in heaven, as it is on earth.
Okay, so the way I see it, God created, well, not Satan, Lucifer at the time. And if God made Lucifer and his greatest cherub, his angel, in goodwill, what gave Satan, excuse me, Lucifer the desire to have to be who he is right now?
Free will, choice,
See that's why I picked
choice.
the letter C and I picked
Yeah.
the letter F, choice of free will, and that's what I get a lot from a lot of people when I ask this question, and I have a choice. Choice is not evil. Choice is like if I decide to eat an apple instead of an orange, that's a choice. That's not evil or good. Even goal is within the category of choice, but I don't consider evil and good the definition of choice, where choice could be a definition of anything. So my question is like, what if God made Lucifer in his image, of course, meaning one of his right hand man's in heaven, and one of the beautiful angels, he created something good. What what beguiled Lucifer to become against God?
Same thing, man. Choice isn't evil. It's what we choose is evil. So it's always going to be choice. I would say that what provoked Lucifer to be evil. The the natural sins that we all have, the natural desires that we all have, pride, jealousy, envy, things like that. That provokes anyone, man.
So so God did not create anger, hatred, envy, jealousy, because those are the things that was created in Lucifer. But if God made Lucifer in his greatest image, or something that's great, that's one of his greatest cherubs, his angels, something had to beguiled Lucifer before he was, apart from heaven and fall down on earth with one third of his angels. And then we go so on where he beguiled Eve, and so on. But something had to get a desire. That desire did not come from God if he's good all the time.
Where do you think the desire came from?
Well, it's a theory to me. I have a theory.
Yeah, what's
Um,
your theory?
yeah. Well, I know a lot of people ask, where did God come from? And these are questions that no one have an answer to, but we don't have an answer to that. But I see an opposite. I see that God is good all the time, and He creates. He could create you, and He could, you know, it's kind of explain. I think there's an opposite being out there, or not being, but something besides God that beguiled Lucifer. Because you can't say God is good all the time while at the same time He made Lucifer, and then He knows the beginning, the middle, and the end, Alpha and Omega, and decided that there's no way that Lucifer can have the power to get these spirits in him, evil spirits in him, without something else beguiling him. So
Yeah,
I feel that there's another being out there that cannot create, or in other words, he can't create anything and he can't destroy, but he could beguile you into these sins.
yeah,
Um, that's basically what I'm trying to get at. That there's another being out there instead of just God created something beautiful, and all of a sudden he became jealous, pride, and envy. Where's those souls and spirits came from? I mean, I call it spirits, because we have all of this.
yeah.
There's
No,
only two.
I understand your theory and your line of thinking now, and many people have those same thoughts. There's not really any new thoughts.
Understand.
Yeah, it's not really any new thoughts. There's someone that thought of what you're thinking about right now.
Mhm.
That thought that you just spoke of, that slipped in my mind at some point when I was young or at some moment too. And that's the problem with perception. Everyone's perception is unique to them. And it's different. So to answer your question, I would say that it's it's the way you're viewing it. So you want to think more linear, straightforward than so much, broad, because that'll confuse you.
Yeah.
Let's just stick to what we know, what's true. You believe in free will. So if you believe in free will, then you know that there's many things within that can happen. So since God gave us free will, which that's choice, we get to choose right from wrong, good and bad. We get to choose all of these things. Now, let's say before Eve bit the apple and before the world went into a fallen state, right? The first sin happened in heaven, we could say, right?
Facts.
So, yeah, facts. So the first sin happened in heaven. So
And the
as it
first
is in
war
heaven,
too.
what's
First
up?
war too. And the first war.
Yeah. So as it is in heaven, as it is on earth. So we got to look at it. Well, if God made us in his image, he made, the angels and everything else. The difference is that they're spiritual beings, we're more physical beings. So that's a difference. Then you got to look at it if you're a creator. So you want to try to maybe put yourself in the creator standpoint. All men we create. So if I create this computer, I'll know everything about this computer. I'm not bound by the computer. The computer is bound by me because I put the zeros and ones and everything in there. So God isn't bound by time, space, and matter and stuff like that. So when you're trying to think about if there's another entity or another being out there, it's a nonsensical thought. It's like if the computer is asking the creator, if I created the computer, well, were there other creators? Were there other things? But I am the actual only creator. Like, that's a fact. I am the only creator of this computer. But then the computer is going to ask me, well, are you really the only creator? So when you look at free will, there's many things that can happen. There's many choices that can happen within free will. So Lucifer and all the angels, they disobeyed God. This is why they fell from heaven, right?
Right.
And they had choice to do that. There wasn't like there was a different entity or a different being that was influencing them. No, the influence is choice.
Well, okay, now
let me make it like so it hits home. Influence creates thinking, thinking creates behavior. Mm-hmm. So the influence, think about free will is something that hovers, right? It's something that hovers around. And then influence can come from how God made us. Think about human beings. We got 5 senses: seeing, touching, hearing, tasting, and smelling. Our 5 senses absorbs things, right? Now we have our human being, our biology. Men, we have testosterone, 17 times more testosterone than women. Women have more estrogen. So we have a biological makeup, and then we have senses that absorbs information, right? So a male, this is why no one is born a certain way. You are only born what God made you. A man is born a man, and a woman is born a woman. Anything else, you've just been influenced by, right? From your 5 senses, right? Now, that's the same thing with the angels and everything, too. God made them angels with whatever senses they got. Who knows? We don't know, right? So they still was absorbing things around them from what they seen, heard, touch, taste, smell, and all of these things, which then influence them. It curves their perception of things. This is why then when it curves your perception, then influence creates thinking. You're now starting to think, then it creates behavior. Now you're going to behave, and you may choose to make the wrong decision. You may choose to do evil. You may choose to do bad. So I think you're looking at it like, oh, there's another entity. No, free will is love, and love is choice. Love is, we're not bound by control and restrictions and, God trying to, yes, worship me. You can't do nothing else. Then we'll be robots.
Right. So then God made free will. So then within the free will, he made evil. That's how you...
No, God didn't make evil.
Okay, so then
humans and angels, right? Mm-hmm. Made evil. God only made free will, which is the ability to do good or to God made free will, the ability to obey or not obey. So think about it. If it wasn't free will, then you only could obey. But since it's free will, you can obey or you cannot obey. Make sense?
All right. Yeah. All right. So the characteristics, everything that happened in heaven and everything that's going to happen on earth is like a blueprint of what happened in heaven. Lucifer that became Satan beguiled Eve and Adam, and but that's the key part. He beguiled those two beings. What beguiled the being of Lucifer? If God is all good, God could create goodwill, but within that goodwill, I mean, within that will, that choice, that free choice, there's a choice of good and evil. And my thing is that if God is good all the time, I don't believe that yes, he gives you a choice. Just like in my theory, there's
So
another.
so wait real quick. Look.
Let me because I got it
Okay,
right.
go ahead.
God created everything. He created everything, okay, and goodwill.
Yeah.
Everything is good. The opposite of that is not stronger to God. It's just another God out fear. I'm not saying this to be funny or nothing like that, because he's not God. But his journey, his ambition is to um destruction, chaos, destroying, influencing you. He can't destroy you, but he could influence you. So I think there's another entity out there that beguiled Lucifer, just like the blueprint of Lucifer beguiling Adam and Eve. He gave you the slip of tongue and that choice, whether it was he said it, well, your eyes will be open, because remember there was two trees, a tree of life and a tree of good and evil. So I'm saying, like, if somebody beguiled you, is either they have a slick tongue to say, well, your eyes will be open. Well, if your eyes are not open yet, what was the life then when you didn't recognize you was naked? So that's kind of my thing. It's just a theory. I mean,
Yeah.
the
So
question to this, no one knows. The
well,
question to this, no one, but it's only theories now. Because that's the only
well,
thing I can
no,
see.
I can say that I know. It's so how you're viewing it is right. You're limiting God.
Mm.
I'll tell you, you're limiting God right now, my brother. The reason why you're limiting God, you're shrinking God and saying, well, God gave us free will, but it's you believe in free will, right? Yes.
Of course.
But you're trying to limit the power that God has by saying that, well, there must be another entity. Like you believe that God, so you believe two things is what you said. You said,
Um,
I believe that God is always good. I also believe in free will. So with that, right, you're limiting it because you're looking for something else of where evil or bad influences came from. I'm telling you, my dear brother, is that God is all powerful. So
yes.
you're putting limits on free will and limit on the power that God has.
Mm.
I'll explain it one more time for you so it
Well,
makes sense. And like just walk with me
all right, I'll listen to you.
straight line here real quick. I'll make it quick. So God gave us free will. So you're saying all of these things. Well, where did the angels and Lucifer get these influences? It had to be some type of different entity that influenced them. And I'm telling you that free will it's free. It's so free will. Like think about this, for example. Like guys that have weird fetishes, like foot fetishes and weird fetishes like that. Think about the pedals, the PFs. You get what I'm saying? I don't want to say the word on YouTube. The dudes that have an attraction for kids, the dudes that have attraction for other dudes. Think about all of these things that's like, ew, it's not normal. Like, what is this? And I'm telling you is that God only made us how we are. Everything else we choose, right? We choose to do these things. We have our five senses that absorbs information. Other than that, we choose to do these things. So you're trying to limit like the free will, the free reign that God gave us. Like you're trying to limit that free reign. I'm telling you, it's so free that people can really do some nonsensical, illogical, immoral stuff. As it is in heaven, as it is on earth. So they was doing that in heaven, disobeying God. God is just his word. Hey, I love you so much, so I'm going to tell you, like, so here's the reality of everything, right? I love you so much, so here's the reality. This is why the same thing God put the tree of life, the garden there, the apple, right? I love you so much. I want you to know that there is, a different perspective out there, and you do have a choice to do that. I love you so much, the angels in heaven. You do have a choice. You could listen to my word. You can obey me, or you could be disobedient, right? So that's love. Like, think about what your kid, like, I'm trying to hit it home. Do you have any kids?
Of course.
Got you. So you got kids. So think about what your kids. If you trap your kid, right, in a closet all day, oh no, once you come home, don't do nothing else. You do this. You kind of want your kid to I'll say it a different way. You want your kid to explore things because that's how they grow. Right? If you were so protective and being so controlling over your kid, you wouldn't really even want them to walk, because it's a possibility that they could fall, and that can be viewed as bad. You wouldn't really even want them to climb or go up the stairs. Well, it's a possibility that something bad could happen, and that's not good. So a lot of good things come from free reign. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, so let me ask you something about, because I'll keep it on Earth, because we're talking more Earth than heavens, and how.
Yeah, the heaven stuff is a little,
Yeah, I know. It's
theory.
kind of hard to explain how Lucifer became who he is.
Yo, and one quick second. Let me go ahead and give my chat an update. Everyone that's in the chat right now, it's live debate night. So if you want to go ahead, and I'm just having a discussion with my brother here. He was the first one that joined the stream. But if you want to go ahead and join the stream, go ahead and click the link in the description, and you can go ahead and join the stream. It's going to be the first link in the description. Click it, and you can go ahead and join in. We can talk about anything: politics, dating and relationships, anything you want to talk about. This was the first brother that came in. He wanted to have a discussion on God and free will, but I'll go ahead and let you talk, man.
All right. So since we work on Earth, with the tree of life, and there's a tree of knowledge of good and evil. Am I correct? I just want to make sure. There's a tree of good and evil. That's what it says in the Bible, right? The knowledge of good and evil. So before Eve, Adam got beguiled by Satan, was it one way that they was thinking, or they still had a choice if they didn't even eat the apple of good and evil?
Yeah, I look at that story as not so, blanket statement. I look at it like, God made Adam and Eve. It's pretty much the first human beings, pretty perfect. Adam was perfect, at least, and then Eve came from Adam, right? And Adam spoke directly with God. He had a direct communication with the source. Eve didn't really have that direct communication with the source like Adam had. With that being said, is that God made them perfect, but he didn't put anything out there. The reality is things are perfect and things are imperfect, right? So that's just the reality of life. The reality of life is there are good things that can, help you prosper and give you peace and joyfulness. And then there are things that can truly harm you and do evil. And that symbol of the tree is just saying like, hey, here's my word. I'm going to give you my word. If you follow my word, you'll live forever. You won't die. You'll always be in peace and live a good life. If you disobey my word, that's when you will die, right? And all they did, I think that story is just a story to say that if you don't follow God's word, evil will happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in other words, the story, the way you say it is, you said a story is that.
Story is be obedient.
Be obedient. Okay, well, I understand that, but if there's what's the proof of them opening their eyes and seeing themselves naked? I guess that was just a metaphor then.
Well, yeah. That's a metaphor of, they actually see themselves. Think about it, like the word naked. Like naked is like you're not clothed. You're exposed, right? So think about being exposed. No one really wants to be exposed. So it's the mind of how we perceive things. They didn't perceive themselves as being exposed before, but once they bit the apple, they perceived themselves as being exposed, and they felt shameful of it, so they covered up. You get what I'm saying?
So at that point, they noticed. Okay. What I'm trying to understand is that before that situation, did they have any knowledge of good and evil?
I would say that they still had knowledge of it's not about having knowledge of good and evil. That's not the thing. I'm sure they did. The key thing is what you choose to do. So you can have all of this knowledge, but then if you make a choice to then do good or evil, that's the main thing. And I think that they had put the the tree there, the symbol there, and it was like you either obey me or you choose to, you make something else your God. So the facts is that Eve made the serpent her God because she listened to the serpent, and Adam made Eve his God because he disobeyed God and he listened to Eve. And it's kind of what happens. You could see these same things occur in today's time. Women are more susceptible to outside influences than men are, but men are very susceptible to women, right? Like these simps out here make up lies, do anything to try to pander to women. And then there's women that would literally throw their kids away, throw their husband away, just to get a Gucci bag, just to have a fun girls trip, just to say, oh, I just want to be selfish and do what I want to do. You get what I'm saying? Like, think about it. Women are 80% of the consumer base. Well, why do all of these, marketing industries and things like that, why do they market to women? Because women buy. Women are easy to be sold to. Men, we a little bit non-agreeable. You put something in front of our face, you're going to be like, I'm kind of good with what I got. Men are naturally more conservative. Women are the more of the progressive type. It's in their nature to seek and, I'm not really satisfied here. Men are more like, we're content generally in our proclivities.
Okay, I know you have other people waiting, but I'm just trying to understand where you come from to the point when they in the Garden of Eden and their eyes open, but what they was before their eyes was open. And if you're telling me that, well, it's really a story or metaphor, you're telling me that they had the choice of good and evil before that metaphor became in the book, the good book. But I know, and the way I feel is God is good and his creations are good. Everything that he does is good at all time. And he has no parts of evil, no jealousy, no envy, no hate, none of those things. And in order to feel the good, know the choice of good and evil, and something begilded you to Eve or Adam, it's the same thing that happened on earth, the same thing that happened in heaven. And I feel that it's either two things. It's either God created Lucifer to become Satan and cause this, or he has nothing to do with it. And this is the way I see it. He has nothing to do with it. So I'm not limiting God. He is God. But somebody will ask, well, is there other gods? There's no answer. And the only answer to this, the true answer is we don't know. But I feel, my theory, that something begilded Satan. Something begilded him, but it's not stronger than God. God, he can't create and he can't destroy, but he could put these feelings in you, these emotions of envy and hate and pride, because that's what Lucifer had. He had pride because he was the most beautiful angel, musical, beautiful.
Yeah.
Souls, everything. So
yeah, I get what you're saying. Like think about what I just said, right? Eve made the serpent her God. Adam made Eve his God. Who you listen to, who you let influence you, you make them your God. Like there's many people on this stream right now. I'm sure their God is weed. All they do is wake up in the morning and they wake and bake, they smoke. I'm sure their God is weed. I'm sure their God is a little corn, but replace the C with a P. All they are is masturbating and wanking off all the time. So people make a lot of vices their God, right? So what I'm saying is Lucifer, he just made other things his God besides the one true God. And human beings are flawed, and angels as well. So the only true perfect entity and being is God, because he always chooses good. This is why he's good all the time. But human beings, right, and angels, well, we're not good all the time. What we can be, that's the thing, because God gave us choice. So in free will, so it's like, well, you can be just like me. You can be good all the time, but let's see if you have the discipline to really be good. Let's see if you can really make those sacrifices to really be good. You know what I mean, brother?
Yeah. So in other words, God made Lucifer and one of his beautiful angels, but then Lucifer himself created. He created. This is not what I believe though, but the way it sounds like that, he created lust, envy, jealousy, and hate. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I'm not saying that anyone created that. I'm saying that these are, I'm not saying that, Lucifer created these things.
Because mostly
No,
people
these,
would say, the devil's on my back. The devil did me do this to me. The devil told me to do this. The devil told me to do
look,
that.
it's the problem with perception, right?
Mhm.
So think about it. Let's say me and you we driving in a car. We both get into a car accident. We in there together, right? We got the same bruises, same damages, and really the only thing, matter of fact, we got no bruises, no damages. We walk out of there fine and we totally good. But
Right.
how you perceive it, you're like traumatized by it, where you don't want to get into another car again. You have PTSD when you're even in cars. But me, I'm like, man, I'm in another car the next day. I'm totally fine. But that's how you perceived it. So what I'm saying is, it's the problem with perception. Influence creates thinking, thinking creates behavior. But since we are all unique, perception is unique. It's how you experience the world. It's unique to you, right? And within that, you got PTSD from it, and then now you can't get in the cars anymore. But I'm totally fine, and I can still get in the cars. So that's the same thing when it comes to all outside influences. It's about what we choose from the physical aspect, and then it's about what we actually allow to influence us. I listen to hip hop music, and put it like this, brother. I have a brother. My brother spent most of his life in prison, right? And my other brothers, I'm different than all my brothers, but I have a little bit of, I'm the youngest. I have a little bit of all of them in me. They all did things that I've never done. I was born and raised in an area. Now, everyone has their own personal story where they didn't let negative influences impact them. And that's just what I'm saying. It's like people, they chose to let hip hop music, they chose to let gun violence, they chose to let being born and raised in the projects to really impact them. These things didn't have an impact. These things don't always have an impact on people. I don't cuss, drink, smoke, or do any of those things. But all my friends when I was growing up, they all did that. Why didn't I do it? It didn't impact me. I was on a different path. You get what I'm saying? And there's just some people that's like that. And then there's some people they're susceptible to certain influences. And that's all about the perception of how we perceive things, because it's so unique. And that's what free will is about.
Yo, thanks a lot, Cooley, for letting me come in.
Of course, brother.
I've been here one time. I've been here. This is my second time. The last time I was about to get off. You was talking about relationships, and I told you it was over. I think you remember. And I said it's over. There's no going back to relationships. And at the end of the day, people are going to start using synthetic humans. Remember?
Oh yeah, I remember you.
I told you my age.
Elon Musk making them bots.
Yeah, my age is 51, and I told you that my experience to relationships from decades to decades to decades, no one in their 20s and 30s or 40s, not that they can't tell me anything, but I see that women don't like men don't want the hassle, and this is entitled, and everything else is fast gratification, and no one really has the span to this. The word is compromise no more. The word is compromise. There's no more compromise between man and woman. And I would talk about simps in another time, but today I just wanted to ask you that question, brother, and just put me back on, man.
I'll get you back on, man. It was a good discussion. You had some good theories, and I like discussions like that, man. But have a blessed one, man. I'll get some more people up.
All right, take care, brother.
Peace.
Peace.
All right, chat. Anyone that wants to go ahead and join the stream, I see we do have some people in here. I'm going to go ahead and bring some people on up. But anyone that wants to join the stream, go ahead and click the first link in the description. I'll bring you on up. We get to talk about anything, politics, dating and relationships. If you've seen some of my content and you disagreed with certain things, you can come on in. It's debate night, so anyone is welcome. Also, go ahead and get the likes up. We got a lot of ninja watchers in here. Go ahead and get the likes up. Like the podcast, man. All right, let's get the next person up. Hey, welcome to No Fugazee podcast. State your name and where you're from.
My name is Atia, and I'm from New Jersey,
Atia from Jersey. I'm from Jersey too. What part you from?
Atlantic City.
Atlantic City. Okay. What's up? Talk to me.
So, I was listening to y'all's conversation, and I really just wanted to chime in a bit, from a different perspective. And I felt like both of you guys were right in a sense, but from our teachings, I'm Muslim, so I want to give you our version of the whole the devil Satan story. Um,
Okay.
so, as Muslims, we are taught that Satan or Shaitan, Iblis, as we call him, was not in fact an angel. That God has created another form of life, which is called the jinn. Um, and if you look, you can look them up. There is a lot of literature and stuff on the jinn. The angels
You
do
mean
not.
like the what we would call researchers would call like the Anunnaki stuff like that, or what?
I'm not too sure of that
Not too
name.
sure.
No.
Okay. All right. But it's called the
But
Gen.
like how he created man, he created angels. He also created jinn. Jinn
Okay.
and angels were created prior to man.
All right.
Um, and the angels were their primary reason for being is to serve God. They do not have free will. That's why you don't have a story of an angel who disobeys God. The story with Iblis or Satan is that he was a jinn. Jinn have free will the same way man has free will. So the when he created man and he told all of his angels and the jinn to bow to the creation of man, angels were created from light, jinn were created from fire, and man is created from clay or dust, or earth, and Iblis didn't bow. Every other creation bowed except for him, and he's like, why are you not bowing to my creation? And he said, because I'm better than he is created from clay and I'm created from fire. So out of his own arrogance, he just felt automatically that he was a superior being. So why should he bow to another creation? And God's take on it is, well, I created you. I created everybody. So how are you to say who you're better than anything else? You're all of my hand. You are all of my creation. Um,
Okay. I see that theory. I heard similar thoughts like that before, and we don't really know. Me and a brother, we was more discussing going like to the root cause. He was saying that there's like God, but then there's God is all good, like there's a positive, but he was saying like no, there's a opposite of that. There's like pretty much saying there's another God that's like all negative.
he's
Cause like
giving
where do
he's
we get
giving
these influences from?
yeah, he's giving Shaitan more power than he deserves.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the
yeah.
the
That's
whole
what he's
point, and
doing.
and that's what I wanted to chime in, and I really wanted him to still be on here. I didn't know if you could add him and me at the same time, but
We could add people in and stuff like that. Yeah.
so yeah, I'm like, the issue is, when he's like, oh well, where did all of these sinful thoughts and acts come from? Because when God was going to ban Iblis to hell, to the fire, he asked him for rest. Give me time, and I'm going to take as many of your creation of man because you're so proud and fond of them. I'm going to
Yeah.
take them with me. So he said that might well be true, but only people you won't be able to take are my sincere, true believers and true followers.
True followers. I know
Yes.
what you're saying. Yeah, I heard theories and stuff like that before. Hey, Just Bree, I see you came in here. I'm gonna go ahead and bring you on up next. But you have any other questions for me, or anything, any topics you wanted to talk about today?
I mean, so that was my take on that. But I did also want to mention, what do you think about this Kamala Harris waltz?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm voting for Trump straight up.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just a very simple. And it's not. I'm not no Trumper or anything like that. It's just a very logical, easy answer. I look at it from. Let me ask you a question. Would you say people that encourage kids and family is more good than people that don't encourage kids and family? Which one is more good? The people that encourages children
If
and
you're
family?
just judging the person on that one category, then yes, the people who value family and children.
But that's where it all starts from, right? So people that encourage other people to have kids and to start a family, because that's where we all derive from, right? You would say that that's a good thing rather than the opposite. The people that disencourages, people to have family and children, right? Because I always think linear, so I always start with the cause. Manipulation happens when you focus on the effects instead of focusing on the cause. So forget about race, forget about, a lot of these things. I know that in order for me to be here, in order for people to live, and a good life, we need good families, and these people need to have good children, and we need to raise these good children to be good members in society. I think if that happens, the world would be a much better place. And I think all people could agree. I think maybe we'll disagree if what you think good is, but that's a different story, right? But if we're just talking about if you encourage family and children, then you are pro-natalism. If you disencourage family and children, you are anti-natalism. The entire Democrat Party is anti-natalism. They don't encourage family and children. Their ideologies and beliefs comes from people that have the same ideologies as Bill Gates and stuff. They think the world is overpopulated. So they do things in the medical industry. They do things in society in many different ways to decrease population, not to increase population. So the people that want to decrease population, they're evil. The people that encourage children and family, these are good. This is pro-life, right? If you encourage family and children, this is life. God gave us life. Positive versus negative. They promote death. So when I just look at it from there, I start from there, then I can look at the policies and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, what's some other policies and who do I agree with on there? Who do I agree with on this side? And what would really be good for family and children? And when I look at it, it's like the Republicans are more good for family and children than the Democrats. The Democrats, they have a radical, both sides have a radical party. Democrats have a radical party, which is the LGBTQ plus movement. That's their radical party. That's the radical stuff. The Republicans, we can say that they have a radical party too. It's like, okay, maybe race, right? We can say that maybe we say, man, they're a little racist or whatever. But then you got to think about, well, is race really even affecting us now? No. Really, what's affecting us is, black people and just people in general being raised not in a nuclear family, being raised with just one single parent, which normally is a single mother. So we know that that doesn't produce good members in society. So it's like, I'll go with the Republican side. That's my way of thinking of it. What about you?
Again, I feel like you are narrowing that down into one particular category. And I don't believe that Republicans necessarily represent life. I don't think that they really promote life. They are anti-choice when it comes to life, which I get. But I'm not on the Democrat side when it comes to that. But if they really promoted life, then they wouldn't promote, so much capitalism that also creates the issues that create sickness and death and disease in this country.
Well, capitalism is what you do with it, right? So open market capitalism is a good thing. This is the reason why a lot of immigrants want to come here, because it's the land of opportunity. If we didn't have open market capitalism, it wouldn't be the land of opportunity. It'd be like if you're going to Russia. It'd be like if you're traveling to one of these second world countries and stuff like that, or third world countries, because everything is like under like is dictated too much. But if you have an idea and if you are ambitious enough, you can make those ideas come true, right? You can bring those ideas into fruition in America. In other countries, you can't. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to compete, right? So I think that people have the problem with looking for equal outcome rather than looking for equal opportunity. Equal outcome is nonsensical. We're never going to no one is going to have the same outcome, because the reality is we're not equal. But
we eventually that boils down to we don't really actually have equal opportunity either. But
the equal opportunity. Well, that's the thing. You want to strive for equal opportunity, and I think that America now, this is why we're still the greatest country, because we're the closest to equal opportunity. Right now, it's not to say that we don't have any law. Put it like this: we don't have any law in place that is promoting the opposite of equal opportunity. Like, everything is promoting equal opportunity. But I think that people have more of like a victim mindset instead of a competition mindset. So they see themselves as a victim instead of a victor. They're like, well, this is oppressing me. I was born in the projects. I don't have any opportunity. Like, why am I born here? They're looking at it wrong. They view themselves as a victim. They don't understand the reality that you should be grateful that you're born in America and not in some weird area in China, or a weird area in Africa where you don't even have clean water, where you have like zero opportunity. In America, we still have a whole lot of opportunity, even if you're born on Section 8. Like, you have so much opportunity. And then not only that, it's how you perceive things. And I think that people that get ahead, they view life which in a truthful way, in its truest form, which is competition. I'm a competitor, and I'm going to be in competition with other people. So in order for me to get ahead, I have to outcompete certain people in the industry that I'm going into. And this is where it opens up, more doors for people.
So when you say that there's no laws that are against, the opposite of that, I differ on that. Number one being, slavery is technically still legal in America based on our laws.
In what way?
You're considered free unless you are convicted of a crime. Correct?
Yeah, but you still had a choice to do that crime. You didn't have to do that crime.
That is true. You did not have to do the crime. However, because we are not living in a society where opportunities are equal, jobs are not equal when it comes to, it's a lot. It's very nepotism, a lot of nepotism.
But that's the reality of, that's the thing. That's the reality of life. Life is nepotism. If you ask any person in a right logical mind, if you have 3 sons or sons and daughters, and you start a company and you put your sons and daughters in position, because would you put your sons and daughters into position to be fruitful and to grow in their life? Or would you put a random person with a resume to be fruitful and to grow within the company? Now, most people would be like, well, I'm looking at my son's resume and I'm looking at Billy's resume over here. I believe in my son. I don't really know Billy. So let me put my son in this position first, and let's just see if my son deserves it, right? Now, I don't agree with nepotism. I believe in merit, right? Merit means that the work you put in, that should decide everything. So if you outcompete someone, that should be the deciding factor. But nepotism is something that's natural in human beings, is what I'm saying. That's a natural occurrence for most of the world.
Yeah. Most of the world is definitely victim of nepotism. But that does dwindle the opportunities for a lot of minorities and a lot of different groups in this country. So,
Yeah,
um,
but that's a different mindset because you could have a mindset of I want to work for someone, or you can
mhm,
have a mindset that I want to be my own boss. I want to be an entrepreneur, meaning that I want to work for myself. And
mhm.
if you have this mindset, then you don't have to worry about nepotism. Now,
Not,
as you go
not
up the
necessarily, because again, even in the entrepreneur space, you're competing against, major corporations. We have to try to figure out a service or a product that is not already heavily promoted mainstream.
that's
That,
competition though.
yes, it
Yeah,
is.
so that's the reality of it. So it's up to you. Yeah, certain
And
markets
does a
that we
person
go
on
into,
in the projects and on Section 8 have the same opportunity to compete with someone in Bill Gates arena in that
well,
area?
they do have the if you could think it, if you can believe it, you can receive it in America. Truly so. Like there's so many. I could look at myself. I could look at there's so many stories of people being born and off of Section 8 and coming from a single mother household and actually making it. Now it isn't the majority. It's definitely the minority. But you got to think about it. Only the exceptional people actually make it. Like, if you want to be an average person, then that's totally fine. You'll live an average life. But if you want to be exceptional and you want to be better than the average, you're gonna have something in you. You're gonna have a higher drive. You're gonna have your dreams are gonna be bigger. Your beliefs are gonna be bigger, and that's what's gonna motivate you to really push you forward to be that to be that exception. You know what I mean? To be an exceptional individual. So that's the thing. It's like we could go back in the Bible story, right, and look at Cain and Abel.
Hmm.
Like this is how God made the earth. Open market capitalism. Truthfully, I'll explain to you real quick to put it this way. So Cain and Abel, right, came from Adam and Eve,
Hmm.
and God favored Abel's sacrifices over
Hmm.
Cain's.
Hmm.
So that was already right there. So that means that Abel was out competing Cain, and Abel received more favor from God. So which means is if you out compete the person, then you will receive the fruits of your labor, right? And what comes from that? Cain, he got jealous. He got envious of his own brother. And he's like, wait, what? I'm going to go ahead and, try to bring Abel down. And he killed his own brother. So it's like, even from the first book, Genesis, it's like, that's open market capitalism right there. So it's like, so say if God was like this, think about this real quick. Let's reverse it because this is a good conversation. Think about if God did this, right? All right. So I need you to sacrifice things, but no matter how you sacrifice it, it's going to be equal. So you can give Cain, you can give a big sacrifice, and Abel, your sacrifice can be very small, but I'm going to deem it as equal, right? I think that will cause more conflict because then it's like, well, why would I need to work as hard and really put that effort in if I'm really not going to receive the benefits? I'm going to be equal just as someone that put in less work. So
Yeah.
that's nonsensical. I think that causes that's communism. When you look at it, that causes the human beings to really grow that jealous and not even jealous that grow that kind of like it demotivates the human being. So I think if you want to be your best self, in order for human beings to be them best selves, they need to dream bigger. And I think that open market capitalism allows those dreams, allows people to dream bigger.
I mean, I get that and I hear that, but at the same time, like when it comes back down to, Trump and Harris, honestly, I'm not voting. I don't even care who, to be honest, because to
You not
me,
voting?
no, I'm
You
not.
got kids?
I got, yes, yes, I do.
Okay. You got a husband or a boyfriend?
Hmm.
You want your kids to have a beautiful, bright future?
Yes,
Do you want
of
your kids to
course.
be influenced by, LGBTQ plus movement and stuff on Disney and be, have people from other countries just flood the borders and, take away opportunities from your kids?
Um, I don't believe that people flooding the borders is taking away any opportunities from my kids. And then also that LGBTQ is not, that movement isn't going anywhere no matter who wins, because even though the Republicans say they are so against it, you can find a plethora of them that participate in those activities.
True enough.
And they just got a red stamp
The
on their
difference
chest.
is, though, the difference is
How I feel about it.
people may participate in those activities on the Republican side, but they don't promote it. So that's where influence comes in. So if you do something behind closed doors, it's still bad, right? But what's really bad if you do it behind closed doors, that bad thing, and then you try to make it a norm, like other people should do it. So that's when it's like totally crazy. And I think that the Dems do that.
Yeah, they do. And I'm totally against that. I'm totally against that. So I really, honestly, like, I have a 2-year-old. My daughter just graduated high school. Thank God. I have a 10-year-old stepson. And honestly, my 2-year-old's not going to school, public school here. I'm trying to move out of the country before he even gets into school. That's my goals.
But that's a good thing. I mean, private school, or even, homeschool. Yeah, homeschool. It's not a bad idea.
Homeschooling is the way to go these days. But yeah, it's too much out here. And they're, like I said, valuing family. The fact that both of them are openly saying they're going to continuously support this genocide that's happening, it just blows my mind. I'm watching, the press secretary every night, give a speech about how he cannot seem to deem what's happening over in Palestine a genocide, when the international community of justice is saying this is a genocide. So to me, it's like American politics is it's a rat race for the people. It's just to keep us so, preoccupied with this contest of who's going to win, that none of us are actually realizing how much we're losing by even focusing on this damn country, to be honest. Like, I just think it's a bunch of nonsense. As wages are, slowly going up, inflation is going up 3 times faster.
3 times higher. Yeah, that's a fact. Well, I get what you're saying. I would encourage you still to vote. I would say, think of it, because I was the same way. To be honest with you, I had a more, progressive and democratic mindset. My mindset, changed kind of later on in life, around like 27, 28. I'm 35 right now. So, if you try to, not have so much of these things manipulate you, when you focus on the effects and maybe just look at the cause, like I said, like family, children, that's good. If we start there, we all know that's where we need to start for anything good to happen. So then who encourages that and who promotes that? That's going to be really one party. It's going to be the Republican Party, not the Democratic Party. That when it comes all the way down to termination of unborn children, that's Republicans are more pro-life. Democrats is not pro-life. But good convo. I'll go ahead and get another caller, and I appreciate you for calling in, and I'll have you up again.
All right, you take care now.
All right, have a blessed one.
You too.
All right, chat. So we got a lot of people in here. Go ahead and get the likes up, man. Everyone on Facebook, I'm going to go ahead and close down a Facebook stream. Come on over to YouTube. That's No Fugazee Podcast on YouTube. I got some people I'm going to bring up. We got Straight White Male, going to bring you up. We got Tukke, going to bring you up. And we also got Kavez. I think I'm saying it right, but we got to go ahead and bring you on up too, man. So give me a second. Let me go ahead and shut down the Facebook stream now. Everyone on Facebook, come on over to YouTube. That's No Fugazee Podcast on YouTube. Come on over. And if anyone that's tuning in, if you want to go ahead and join the stream, just click the first link in the description and you can go ahead and join the stream. It's open debate night or open conversation night. A lot of people come in here just to have some conversations about topics, or we can have a debate. Like if you watch some of my content and you disagree with it, don't be scared. I'll bring you on up and we could talk about that. All right, Chad, give me 2 seconds, man. I'm going to go ahead and run to the bathroom. I'll be right back. All right. Let's go ahead and bring some people on up. Get these debates going on. Hopefully somebody in here is a hater, man, so we can get some good content out of this. Also, if you have any questions, go ahead and send in a super chat, man. Like, if you don't want to join the stream, you can always support the podcast by donating and sending in a super chat, and I'll go ahead and answer your question. All right, let's see. And also, while we're waiting, go ahead and get the likes up. Don't be a ninja watcher, man. Get these likes up. All right, so we got some super chats, and we got Angel Greg sends in $5. Adam was a subject of God, and we are children of that Father. Why don't you just think, if Adam was a dad, what kind of son does that make my dad? If Adam was a dad, what kind of son does that make my dad? Okay, I see what you're saying. Chat funny. Okay, we got Wesley Keith sends in $5. Both of you might consider reading Paradise Lost by John Milton, 1667, to address the plausible motivations of the creation. Yeah, there's a lot of motivations, but okay, let's get some more people up here. So we got Leo, I see you in here. We got Straight White Male, I see you in here. But let's go ahead and get Tucky up. I think that's your name. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. State your name and where you from. I can't hear you. I think your audio is muted. Okay. Get that figured out, man. Check out your audio. I'm not sure what's wrong with it, and then I'll bring you back up. No worries, brother. Let's bring up this guy. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. State your name and where you from.
What's up? My name is Fugazee. I'm from Texas, bro.
Fugazee from Texas. What you want to talk about today, man?
Man, you talk about some beautiful things, bro. There's a lot of people out here that need some clarity in the things that they believe in, and you really applying that for the people.
I appreciate it, brother. I really do appreciate that, man.
You know, my take on it is, you know, I believe in the Lord, man. I believe Jesus is the way, and I go and preach the gospel everywhere I go. But a lot of people have a lot of their own different perspectives on the gospel and what's true. So, kind of, what's your take on like giving a good gospel for the people? Sharing the correct gospel.
So, when I look at it, it's like I think people should encourage, like if you have, it's happening everywhere, right? So we have, atheists trying to influence other people. They're preaching their gospel, right? Trying to make people be atheists. We have the LGBTQ movement, preaching their movements and preaching their gospel. So we have all of these different groups trying to influence the masses. So we should do the same thing. 100%. Nothing is wrong with that.
I do small town work. I'm in a small town in Texas, and I was at work today talking to some people. It was a girl. She was dressed in all gothic clothes, and she ended up having a girlfriend. They added me on Snapchat and all this stuff. I'm kind of known in my community. Yeah. And these girls, they were in a relationship, but I thought they was just normal girls. And I couldn't tell looking at them, you see. And so, everywhere you go, you seeing this stuff in the community. I wanted to share the gospel. I was looking for an opportunity. But you see, they had a whole lifestyle going on. You don't want to be judgmental of the people, but you got to see it, right? You want to kind of come in with it with a judgmental eye or...
Yeah, I know what you're saying. There's always a place and time to say things to people. And it's not to say you should be like a Jehovah Witness, just walking up to people's door like, praise and worship God, and this way is the only way,
Yeah.
Sometimes it does work for Jehovah Witnesses. I'm sure they do bring people to Jehovah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like sales, right? I think it's all sales. Yeah. If you can sell someone something and they're going to pay for it, obviously you influence them to a degree because they're paying their hard-earned money for whatever you're selling them. So that's with everything. So if you seen a woman and she was dressed in all black, she was gothic, and she had a girlfriend, meaning that they were lesbian, and you know that it's immoral and it's not righteous and it's the opposite of God. Maybe walking up to them and just saying, "Hey, what you're doing," and you're not really going to sell them and to change their mind, right? So it's to sell someone something, time and place plays a big part into it. So maybe it's not the right timing. You said that you work with this lady.
No, I'm a car hop at Sonic. And
Okay, I got what you're saying.
I'm an author as well, so
yeah. All I'm saying is maybe it just wasn't. Got it. Yeah, maybe it just was. Maybe that's just not the right time to preach the gospel to them, meaning that it won't have any effect. It'll just be negative.
It could have been, yeah. It seemed like it was beneficial to them to see me, but just not that time and place. But I like talking about the smaller things. I mean, you and the other guy before this young lady? She had some really good, powerful points too. But that other guy had some stance. He was trying to call out, who is God? What is God's stance and position? And I was leaning more to your side. I always kind of seem to do. You always come from the bottom, the root, the source, and I believe that's the correct way to do it. I'm
yeah.
an author.
Yep. So. Yeah, no, yeah, and manipulation happens, man. I say it so many times, and there's key things. The key things that I don't know a lot. I don't claim to be the smartest person, to have the highest IQ, though my IQ is pretty high. I got to test it. It's above average, but I don't claim to be all of these things. I know a few things, and it grounds me. It keeps me on the right path, and that is something that's very true. Yeah. Manipulation happens when you focus on the effects instead of going to the root, the cause. It even happens when I'm having conversations and debates with people. They'll try to, move the goalposts and do all of these things, but I'm like, wait, what's going on? Let's go back to the root. Like, well, where is this coming from? And I think if you stay at the root, you know that you're being, if you can understand the root, once you know what the root is, you know that someone is trying to manipulate you, or they just don't know what's true. Wow. Right? See, and then you can win the debate and stuff like that. But yeah, go ahead.
I got this book that I just picked up at a local thrift store. It's nothing crazy. But this book is about cult followings, and you say roots. So basically, I'm a disciple at my church. And one big point that we talk about in discipleship is you always focus it around Jesus. So if you're getting too far away from this point, yeah, you may be studying the Bible, studying the scripture, studying these things, but bring it back to the root. The reason is the cross. What he came on earth to do is to die for the sin of men. And some people may be studying, or they may be reading the Bible, but they forget that it is a victory tale. You said people say they forget that they are just victims, but they forget that they are also victors. You see?
Yeah, you're never a victim.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a victim.
Right.
You are only a victim when you succumb to being a victim.
Yeah.
In reality, though, you're never a victim. If you are living and breathing, you're not a victim. You are a victor. A victor meaning that we all go through things and you survived. You're here. So you are a victor. But there's people that go through things and they succumb to it, meaning that they get depressed. The suffering overpowers them. They can't find meaning throughout that suffering. Uh-huh. And that's when you truly become a victim. I have a truly victor mindset, and not any circumstance or anything that I've ever went through in my life. I never looked at it as the glass is half empty. It was always the glass is half full. Well, nigga, I'm here. Let's go. Yeah. Round two.
I don't watch anybody podcast. You feel me? Like all the red pill. I still don't really know the difference between the red pill and all that different stuff. But I have a few good men whose podcasts I do watch. And yours I do watch.
You see, appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it.
With the women, for sure, I still watch it because I know the goalposts not gonna be moved, and that's really important because it's like, hey, if it's leaning too much that way, eventually the algorithm will weed you out. But in my book, I'm gonna follow the truth. You see, And so I
Yep.
really appreciate you on that point. You mind if I just say my podcast? I got a podcast too.
For sure, man. Go ahead and shout out anything you want to shout out, brother.
Yeah, my podcast is called the Humming Pod Podcast. My name is Fugazee Irvin, and I'm a book writer as well. Humans of the Ocean. You can find me on pretty much all sources. Type me on Google, you'll see me. And that's all I got to say, bro. My name Fugazee is super easy, just like on the paper right there on the screen.
All right, brother. Blessings to you, and I wish you the best in all of your endeavors, man.
Appreciate it, Cooley. Thank you, bro.
You're welcome. All right, let's go ahead and get all right, so we got straight white male. I see you in here. We got Leo. Let's go ahead and get up Tuke. I think that's his name. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast, man. State your name and where you from.
Now, Brody.
I can hear you good. Yeah.
Okay, I'm 2K, and I'm from
2K.
Yeah,
got
yeah,
it.
I'm from Louisville, Mississippi. By the way, Dallas, Texas now.
Okay. All right, brother. What you want to speak about today, man? You here to debate, or you want to speak about a topic?
No, I just want to holler at you. Whatever. I know how it is. Like how it is to get the content. So when you get some people up here, it'll be a good time.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to politic with you more than debate.
For sure, man.
I got this theory, and I like what you do, bro. Like I always say you almost like the one dude who the girls can't get mad at because you got that mushy voice. So,
man, they still be getting mad though.
Yeah, so like it don't come off as harsh as somebody gonna say it like me, because I'm a straight shooter, whatever. So it is what it is. But my thing is, I want to know if you can help me bring this point home. I came up with this theory that black women are the new white men. And
I know where you're going with it. Go ahead.
Okay, and so what I mean by that is, I feel like let's take it back to slavery just a little bit. So, as human to human, we all knew that slavery was wrong. But as a white man, I got to enslave black people because that what was appropriate at the time. I knew that it was wrong, but I still knew that I could do it because people ain't nobody gonna stop me.
Who gonna stop you? You outcompeted. You won a competition.
And I feel like black women are the same way. Like right now they have the leverage, and I feel like they kind of abuse black men. Like, for example, child support. You know it ain't right how they abuse the system, but they do it because they can get away with it.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So you're saying that, so you're saying that black women have leverage because they can use certain systems to get away with things. That's what you were saying.
I don't know that is wrong in morality, but they do it because the law of the land say that they can.
Okay.
So, to me, do that make black women the new white men? Because they take on these roles in several different parts of black men's life. I feel like that's the leading cause of death for a black man. It's probably a black woman. No, I'm serious, and I always say this, like, because my mama, that was my first toxic relationship with a woman.
Well, I could say this in regards to, black women and women in general, but since we're speaking about black women, they do commit a lot of the termination of unborn children. I'm not saying the A word because we can't use it on YouTube, but they are high in the numbers of terminating unborn children. So yeah, and for that, in that case, we would say that they're decreasing the black population and stuff like that because they actually have that choices. It's only their choice. Men, we don't have any choice when it comes to that. So in that sense, I understand what you're saying. When we're speaking about black women having leverage than more leverage than black men, that's not true.
How so? Now we can get into that. How so?
Yeah. So just in general, women don't have more leverage than men collectively. So when we're speaking about men versus women, they don't have leverage because men, we are physically stronger. So that means that we wield the enforcement mechanism. So men, if we come together, right, we can put all the laws and regulations and rules and everything, and we can enforce all of these laws and regulations as well because we're stronger. We wield the enforcement mechanism. So with that, if I'm just looking at it logically, and go to the root, and what you say, black women have, what's the word you used again?
Leverage.
Leverage. I wouldn't say that they have any leverage. I would say that I would say that they have leverage over weak men.
Well,
so
okay.
Weak men.
So let me expound upon that.
A lot of people have leverage over weak men. Don't matter what race you are.
Now, these are factuals, and I agree with you, but it's not determined to the strength or physicality level of the man, and let me tell you why. Because it's kind of like the slave that was an overseer. It's not that we were scared of the slave that was an overseer. It's that he had the backing of master. And
he willed it. I get what you're saying. So, and that's what I mean. The slave that was the overseer wielded the enforcement mechanism. So he wielded the white man's power with guns and numbers. So then we're outnumbered and outgunned. I get what you're saying, but that is still the weak. The slave overseer is still a weak man, meaning that he was susceptible and influenced to go against his own people.
I don't know about it being weak, because logically speaking, because we having a logical conversation, that's not saying that everybody on the plantation was weak. We know that not to be true. So this what I mean by this, because like, let's say I'm a strong man, right? But she got the backing of the court system, and the court system allows her to get the children, which puts me at a disadvantage, no matter what type of strength I was bringing to the formula in the first place. So that's leverage that we can't really do nothing about unless we gonna spend.
No leverage. You focus on the effects. That's when manipulation happens. You chose to sleep with that woman unprotected and have a baby by her. So the onus, you know what I'm saying? So this the thing. We all have choice. There's people that just make the wrong choices, and they're going to feel the consequences of those wrong choices, because we are in a system where, yeah, the courts favor the woman when it comes to child support, when it comes to alimony and all of these things, right? So the courts is going to favor the woman when it comes to divorce. That's what we're pretty much talking about. So, yeah, so that's why we do this podcast here, and we speak about women's nature and men's nature, so men don't make these foolish decisions, so they don't make the wrong choice, so they don't pick the chick that got 3 baby daddies, mad tattoos, and dancing on a stripper pole. Because, dog, she's gonna wreck you in court.
All right, my boy, check this out. Let's take the court side of it. Let's take the woman who also has leverage in the situation, police. And guess who shows up? Men. Manipulates the cops, say, hey, he hit me. My choice don't even matter at that point if I touched her or I didn't. She manipulated that, and that's leverage. Femininity is leverage. And we all love a feminine woman. We'll die for them, go to war for them. But she can also weaponize that.
For sure. Anything can be weaponized, my dear friend. What I'm trying to get you to understand, I understand what you're saying. And you're looking at it from the reactionary standpoint, right? You want to be proactive. So I encourage men and women to be proactive, so you don't have to go through the things that most people went through. So you don't have to go through all of those consequences. So yeah, that makes sense. If you choose a chick that's going to call the cops on you and lie to you about they making up a story and all of this stuff, which many men been through, right? It's like, my dog, you chose the wrong chick.
And you know what, though? I ain't gonna lie, my boy.
From a reactionary standpoint, though, we know that things favor women because we built this society to protect women.
See, but at the same time, like, the process of vetting a woman, especially in the beginning, is almost impossible, because when we first meet, I'm getting a representative of this woman. All right, everybody was like, you should have chose a better chick. But like, from what I thought I had, she was straight up. She was an A1 chick. But then one day she flipped shit. Her neck turned all the way around.
Changed.
Yeah, change. And you count for that change. You don't know when it's gonna come, if it's gonna come. And these are the
Well, this excuse in your line of reasoning is the same excuse and line of reasoning that women make when they meet a man that, sold them a dream and said that, they were going to be in a relationship with her, but he's just clapping cheeks and got her in sex zone only. This is the same excuse that women say that, well, he was good and the vibes is all great, but then he turned into a narcissist, right? So these are all reactionary things, meaning that you go ahead and make a choice and then you feel the consequences of it. So now you have to react to it to try to figure things out instead of being proactive. So it limits the consequences that you will experience, and you don't have to be so reactionary to try to figure things out. So I would say to you, my dear brother, is the same thing I tell the women. You want to go ahead and look at the nature of women. What is the nature of women? What do we know about women? We know that women are hypergamous. So that means that they're hard to satisfy. Right. They look for quality over quantity, right? We know that the nature of women, that they're very susceptible to outside influences, meaning that if you have a woman that went through a whole lot of things, that means a lot of things influence her. She went through stuff with her ex. She was raised in a system, or maybe without a father, and she had a whole lot of things that influenced her, that programmed her thinking because she's so susceptible. So if you choose a woman like that, well, you have to deprogram her in order to get her to follow your lead. So that wouldn't be a woman. So you want to try to mitigate risk, right? Yeah. So in that standpoint, you want to mitigate risk, and that's when you're looking at it to being proactive. When you're looking at it proactive, you're mitigating risk. When you're doing things from a reactionary mindset, you're like living in La La Land almost. Yeah, you're just like, let's blowing in the wind. It's all about the vibes. Maybe her beauty blinded you, so you really couldn't see the truth. Maybe the woman didn't see the truth in the man because what he said, her ears, blinded her, so she couldn't really see his actions. So I get what you're saying, though, man.
No. It's cool. Like, this ain't I'm just trying to help. Because I know how you talk through situations. I was just trying to land that point in my head.
No worries.
I'm straight. I picked the right chick.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, you're speaking in general, too, from a standpoint where it's like, guys, we gotta kind of, like you're speaking at it from a standpoint where it's like, what do we do in a society like this where things kind of benefit women and it's not equal? That's the thing. You're trying to like equalize everything. Forget about equalizing everything, and just know that try to be the best version of yourself. And speaking to the men out there, try to be the best version of yourself. And it's like this. Competence leads to accomplishments, which then leads to true, genuine confidence. And when you got that true, genuine confidence, right, you have options. When you have options, you have an abundance mindset. When you have that abundance mindset, you have the ability to be intolerant of females' inadequacies. Most men don't have an abundance mindset, so they'll tolerate a lot of BS from chicks because they don't have any options. The other thing is that a lot of men that was raised from a single mother, their mother imprinted their worldview onto their son. So then the son wants to save a woman, right? He want to save a hoe. He want to save a chick because the woman, what he's doing is just pretty much projecting onto the woman from what he's seen in his mother. So he's seen that his mother went through things and she was struggling, but I still love my mother. So, yeah. But then you project that onto the woman you dealing with and you're like, well, yeah, she, she didn't have a father, she's in the hood, but she cute, but I love her. I see her like I see my mother. No, my nigga, that chick isn't your mother. And that chick is a chick that you need. It's crazy. Like, you don't choose that chick.
And that's why I said that, a lot of men don't know that their first toxic relationship with a woman is with their mother. Because literally your mama, she is raising you to be the man that she never had. Not for the current crop of women that's being bred. So
exactly
opening up those for sex and red, basically. Like they don't want they know. You know what I'm saying? Like she was teaching me to be a gentleman for a Glorilla. And it just wasn't. But my mama should have looked at the state of the game and be like, okay, listen, this what I need to get you up to par for these type of women, and not the traditional women that was dying out like dinosaurs. Yeah.
I feel you, brother. But listen, 2K, I appreciate the support, man. Appreciate you for calling in. Yo, good conversation. I'll have you back, brother. I'm gonna go ahead and get to the next caller. Okay.
All right, bro. You take care, man. Appreciate you.
Have a blessed one, man. All right, chat. Go ahead and get the likes up, man. Everyone that's tuning in right now, go ahead and like the video. Get the likes up now. Okay. Let's see here. We got Spin City. I got you up here next. I'm going to go ahead and bring Straight White Male up. Straight White Male, turn on your camera. Straight White Male, turn on your camera. I could hear you. I see that it's audio.
Yo. Yeah, it says it's on, man.
It says it's on. It's not on.
I know.
Try to get that figured out, and I'll bring you on back. I'll bring you back up.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, we got Spin City. We got Obstacles to Opportunity up here too. All right, welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. State your name and where you from. No audio. I can't hear you. Maybe click a button on your settings. Yep, you're good now.
Okay, salute. Appreciate you bringing me on, Cooley. Came from San Francisco, Bay Area, etc.
Okay, man. You here to have a debate or talk about something?
All right, so check it out, Cooley. I mess with you and all that stuff, but I am gonna bring you some debate points that I feel like the rest of the internet should hear, maybe coming from you.
Okay.
So it's
you said you messaged me. Where at?
No, I didn't mess with you. You know, I mess.
Oh, you said you mess. Okay. Got you.
So say we're like brothers. We're on the same, but I got to do devil's advocate.
Okay, fair enough, man. State your points of contention.
Cool. Okay, cool. So when we are doing manosphere, okay, real coolly, are you even manosphere, red pill? Is that what's going on No Fugazee, or what? What's your outlook?
Yes. When you're speaking, since there's an echo when I speak, I'ma mute your mic when I speak. Just so you understand, okay? Cool. I got into this space, not looking at manosphere and red pill or anything like that. I'm not part of anything. I'm Cooley, No Fugazee Podcast. Now, when it comes to red pill itself, I look at red pill as just being something part of the Matrix. Like when I look at it and I'm saying like, I watched the Matrix, that is my favorite movie. I would be someone that actually took the red pill. I would be someone that wanted to know the truth and not to live in delusion land. So how I look at red pill is, speaking the truth, being truthful. That's how I look at it. And normally these red pill talking points that most people share, it comes from biology and psychology. So we back it up with actual facts. That's what I'll say. But go ahead.
Cool. Is there still an echo on there, bro?
Yeah, it's still echo. When I speak, not when you speak, though.
Okay, so it's only when you speaking. I thought it was coming from me.
Well, it's coming from you because your audio is open, I guess. If you put in it's okay, bro. You could go ahead and speak, and whenever I speak, I'll just mute myself.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So what are your beliefs on feminism and gender roles? I think maybe women should be able to do whatever they want to do. They fought so long for over all these years to get into power. And it's kind of to conquer the man. I really don't see it as making a better woman and making feminism great again. I see it as overthrowing a man. But on the women's side, what's actually the problem with that?
Okay, just to make sure I have it clear, you're asking me what's the problem with feminism?
Yeah, what's wrong with women doing the work?
Working. That part, you mean, right? Okay, cool. Well, I mean, it's a lot of things it's pros and cons to everything. So we can say that, well, feminism wanted to give women the opportunity to enter the workforce. Okay, cool. Some things, so we create a social construct. So it's nurture versus nature, right? So everything has pros and cons. The nature of any human being, they want the best for themselves. Okay, so we say, all right, well, let women enter the workforce. But then when we speak about dating and relationships, and we know the nature of women, their nature is hypergamous. So that means that they would prefer to date someone minimum on their level, but preferably above their level. So what happened was the effects of feminism and women entering the workforce is as they entered the workforce, right? They earned more money. Now, as they're earning more money, what this does is they want someone on their level. So back in the day where a woman wasn't really working too much, she was earning kind of just getting maybe what her family was giving her or working at little things, getting tips, not really in the workforce and making a whole lot. Well, she's seen any guy, a plumber, a guy that works at a laundromat, any guy is making more money than her. So that's a man that's better than her, right? So that's someone that she's able to respect, meaning that her hypergamous nature would respect, right? Now, what happens is, I got you. Let me lay my plan real quick. So what happens is as women enter the workforce, they earn more money, so their standards go up. And when their standards go up, their options go down because they only want a man that's on their level or above. So what it does is it messes up the dating marketplace and it messes up things with family because women are picky. Their nature is picky. So it's like, well, I'm making a whole lot of bread. These guys don't qualify for me. And we're seeing the effects of that. Go ahead.
Okay. But essentially, again, what's the problem with, okay, what if it's outside the dating market? Women that don't want to date, they just want to work and change the world. They want to be CEOs. They want to be leaders. They don't want children. They don't want to, I'm saying, it's like they call it feminism. There's no real, true femininity up in there for what a woman do. But what's actually the problem with the masculine woman outside of dating? What's wrong with having a CEO woman that's changing the world and traveling? Oprah Winfrey, what's really the problem with Oprah going around? You know what I mean? And
well, what did
having philanthropy and etc.
I got what you're saying, and your audio kind of went down a little bit, but I know what you're saying. So what it does is that it created a false expectation for women, right? So women, generally speaking, they don't derive happiness from creating things, right? Women derive happiness from creating, from literally creating a family, right? So that's where they get their happiness from. Men, generally speaking, are more attracted to things. Women are more attracted to people. That's what it is. That's the facts of the matter. So when we're looking at it, it creates a false expectation for women. They get into the workforce and they're thinking that they're going to derive as much happiness as working up the, climbing up the work ladder and being a manager to CEO or president of a company. They think that they're going to receive the same satisfaction like men receive when we climb up the corporate ladder. That isn't the case, because when women climb up the corporate ladder, we all are social beings, right? The thing is, when women climb up the corporate ladder, their options go down. When men climb up the corporate ladder, our options increase, meaning that our options from the opposite sex. And not only that, we're more respected. Men are more respected by their accomplishments, right? The things that they create and the things that they do. Women, they really don't. Human beings just don't perceive it the same way. Like, human beings aren't looking at looking at Oprah Winfrey. Like, some of them is like, yo, black woman, cool. She a billionaire. That's good for her. But at the end of the day, you're not attracted to Oprah Winfrey because of her money. At the end of the day, if you see a billionaire man, it's kind of like, she was a woman. Probably. And it's we could say that maybe it's a flaw within a human mindset to think of this way when it comes to women that is climbing up the corporate ladder. I can admit to that maybe, but it's, or like a bias, but it's like when a woman is working for something and she earned and she became a CEO of a company, it's like, well, you know, how did you really get there? Like, you know, did you get there because you were beautiful? Did you work your way? Were you like a Kamala Harris? Were you Hawk Tude your way up to the corporate ladder? You get what I'm saying? Like, it's like, we don't really know. But as a male on the opposite end, it's like, generally speaking, he had to work through high and hell water to get to that level. So, I mean, it's just different in the ways of human. It's different because we perceive things differently when it comes to men and women, and when it's based off our accomplishments. That's what I would say.
Yeah,
But
good job.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I like that. I like it. Like I say, I had to play devil's advocate. Okay, so one more thing. Okay, there is the manosphere space, red pill space, etc. Podcast. Like,
Real quick, yo, your audio keeps going down. You got headphones or something? No.
Yeah, they like in the other room.
Okay, let me.
If I get close, or is it broken?
Are you on your laptop or your phone?
Nah, this was just the phone, bro. I should have got my laptop on.
Oh, okay. I can hear you better now. Go ahead.
You hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay, here we go. All right, so the next one was, okay, there's Manosphere, Red Pill, your guys' type podcast. Think about these type of podcasts. You don't do it as much as others, but you have fully, what is, you know, we're like men. I'm in my mid-30s as well. I got family and stuff. What's up with these podcasts where men that are in their mid-30s are arguing and getting, you know, riled up with like a little female that's 19, 20, you know, doing this whole OnlyFans thing or whatever the case may be? What's going on with this whole narrative, man? Like, what's this action? I'm just saying that because me personally, just because a little girl, you know, went through a certain life and ended up doing, you know, a certain type of content that she actually should not be doing, you know, where is it that these grown men are coming and arguing them down against their life and their experience and everything that they've been through as a child, that they can the only way they see it is getting money is doing this, you know, this content that they actually should not be doing, you know what I mean? But what's going on there? What's all this argument, this back and forth between grown, successful men and little lost women?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that there isn't really an argument. Like how I run my podcast, I'm not, you know, finna shame a woman that comes on a podcast and she's like, yeah, I'm atheist. I don't believe in God. I don't even want a man. I don't want a man at all, but you know, I'm going to have OnlyFans and I'm going to sell nudes. That's what I want to do. It's like, okay, you have really, you know, you have realistic you have no expectations. So it's like, you just want to live on this world and be degenerate. My argument with a woman like that, where I had women on there, is like, well, do you think that, you know, that's good? So I'll have a moral argument, right? And then if she's just amoral about everything and she's like, well, no, I don't really care about this. So I'll be like, well, yeah, I then you just test her. Well, if you had a daughter, hypothetically, because I don't really argue with women, but not from the sense of like guys that just like berate women on certain podcasts and, you know, want to shame them and stuff like that. I don't do that. But I ask her a question like, well, if you had a daughter, hypothetically, if you had a daughter, would you want your daughter to adopt your worldview and your actions? Or would you want your daughter to be not out there having an OnlyFans and not a whore and actually kind of follow a more straight path? Most of these women would say they'll choose the latter. They'll say, no, I wouldn't want my daughter doing the OnlyFans. So that's the standpoint where I come from. So it's the arguments that happen, I can see what you're saying, is when women's expectations don't meet their reality, where there's a single mom with 4 baby daddies and she's on a stripper pole, but she says she wants a high value man. But she don't say that she wants a high value man. She really think that she qualifies for a high value man. Then we got to tell her like, chick, you don't qualify for a high value man. You qualify for recreational use only. That's what you qualify for. So in that standpoint, that's where it can seem like an argument and it can seem like we're berating these girls, but we're not. We're like telling you, like, bro, your expectations are so unrealistic. It's crazy.
Well, to tell.
Okay, you're good now.
All right,
You're
right
not
there.
muted. Yeah.
All right. But who are we to even say that? Who are we to even, build platforms? Because, I got people in my life.
Real quick, your audio is going like way down right now. You're gonna have to try to get that figured out. Maybe get some headphones or something.
All right. So I'm just gonna say you running it next week.
I'm running it next week on Wednesday for sure.
All right. Look out for me next week, Brody. I'm gonna come with, again, I mess with you. I'm over here playing devil's advocate. I want to get through some hard questions for the community, but I don't want to just keep playing with the mic. So I'll set up on the computer next week. Let's rock and roll. I'm gonna get on you.
We get it done, man. And bro,
Right.
You got a Majin Buu tattoo? My man got a Vegeta Majin Buu tattoo. That's the Majin Buu tattoo?
Yeah, I got the scars. Sub-Zero, Majin. It's all good, brother.
Hey, I like Dragon Ball Z too, man, but you took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, I got the 7 Dragon Balls in here. I got Kid Buu on the ribs. I got the Millennium Puzzle. I got Yu-Gi-Oh. All the stuff that we grew up on.
I can respect the support for Dragon Ball Z, man. But shout out to you, man. I appreciate the good questions, and I'll bring you back on next week.
Yeah, let's run next week, brother. Appreciate it.
Peace. All right. Let's see here. We got Straight White Male. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. State your name. Where you from?
Yeah, my name's Dom, man. I'm from Detroit.
Dom from Detroit?
Yes, sir.
Okay, man. Talk to me.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you what you think about the Trinity, because I've heard you talk about it before, and I'm just kind of confused what your stance is on it.
Oh, yeah. So the Trinity, that word is not in the Bible. So I'm also going to put you on mute because I hear echo, but it's all good. I'm only going to put you on mute when I'm speaking.
Okay.
Yeah. But so the Trinity, that word Trinity is not found in the Bible at all. The Trinity is how how human beings conceptualized God, the Spirit of God, and man. That's how we, perceived it. Well, it's three. It's a Trinity about things. That is false. Don't believe in a Trinity, how people think it is. So the Trinity, the concept of the belief of the Trinity is false. It's very, very simple. So that manipulation, that happened. The Bible never said Trinity. They threw the Trinity, that word out there, and that's when things got manipulated, and that's when the Muslims can come in and defeat an argument like, whoa, 3 and 1 and all of these things, and it's like it's nonsensical. Here's how I think about it, which is truthful, the right way to think about it. So we are made up of our spirit, our soul, and the physical, right? So what do they say? What is it? God, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, right? So God is not bound by time, space, or matter. He's not affected by it, in it, through it, out of it, all of it. He's not affected by time, space, or matter. But God put his spirit into a living being. That's all that is. So if people that don't believe that Jesus is God, they think that is silly. And they think that God has 3 different personalities and stuff like that. That's when you're like, if you believe in 3 different personalities, then it's a high probability that you'll be okay with, LGBTQ movement. Like, who's to say that they weren't, who's to say that, well, he was born a man, but he really a girl. He got the spirit of a woman, right? Like, who's to say that? Like, if you believe in these different personalities and stuff like that. So I think that may answer your question, but I'll take you off of mute and we'll go back and forth. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, sorry, I got a phone call. Sorry.
You're good.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering how you deal with like the Bible verses that talk about the Son proceeding forth from the Father, the Spirit proceeding forth from the Father, and the kid keeps calling me. Sorry.
All good, all good. Okay,
Um,
I'm sorry. Say that again. You said that
yes.
God, the
So
Father.
the verses that talk about the Son proceeding from the Father and the Spirit proceeding forth from the Son and the Father, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like how would you
Yep.
explain that then? And then there's, he talks about going and making disciples of all nations in the name of the Father, the
You cut out there. Say that last point again. It was like 3 seconds. You cut out. You heard me?
You see me? Hello?
Yeah, I can see you. Yep, I can see you.
I can't hear you now. Damn.
You can't hear me now? This guy. Can you hear me?
I might have to drop for a second, bro. I can't hear you.
All right, go ahead and drop.
Dang.
Go ahead and drop. Yeah. All right, I'll answer his question though, chat. So, I mean, it's very simple. If I make this computer, I am the creator of the computer that I'm looking at right now. And I make this computer to my liking, and however I could do all things with this computer because I created it. I put all the zeros and ones and everything in it. So anything that I think of, right, is in this computer. So I can put my thoughts, like if you're trying to limit God, I think when people ask these questions, they're trying to limit God's ability, meaning that you trying to tell me that God isn't bound by time, space, or matter. He created the heavens and the earth and all of these planets, gravity and all of these things, but he can't have his spirit be in himself. So he's connected to his own spirit, but he can't say, well, my spirit can be within Jesus as well. So Jesus is a man, a physical man, but my spirit is moving within Jesus. So the decisions and things like that, Jesus is a man, but he still has my spirit in them. So he's going to be like a perfect man. So that's how I look at it. It's like any other person that comes on here and you speak and you're saying these things, my rebuttal to it is you're trying to limit God. Now, if you're speaking about all of these different personalities, like 3 different personalities, no, I don't believe in that. That's nonsensical. And if you believe in that stuff, then you most likely believe in LGBTQ plus and weird things like that, which is nonsensical and made up. And it's fairy tale land. But anyways, hope he comes back in and I can answer his questions a little bit more direct and we can have a back and forth. But hey, chat, get the likes up, man. Let's bring in Plugged In Entertainment. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast, man.
Hey, what's up, bro? Appreciate you for having me. Product from Plugged In Entertainment, Charleston, South Carolina. I'm from King Street, South Carolina. I live in Charleston. I just had a quick question. You can hear me okay?
I can hear you good, yeah.
All right. I got a podcast, obviously. I bring artists and stuff on like that, but I really be having a message I try to push to the youth, which is for the most part positivity. How much weight would you put on the music of like the current state of the youth? Or what trajectory do you see the youth on right now, like as in the whole? You know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense?
Okay, so your question is the youth and the trajectory in regards to music, like the influence of music, you mean?
Yeah, like how much weight would you actually put on that? Because you know what I'm saying, we all got free will, so we can make decisions. But obviously, music does have some form of an impact. You know what I'm saying? More so to others. But how much would you say in general is that a big thing? Like how much? Like if we were to clean up the music tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? Just hypothetically speaking, how much more positive do you think like the youth in general would be?
I get what you're saying, man. Yeah, man. I think influence creates thinking, thinking creates behavior. So if we create a genre of music where it's negative and it's promoting negativity, like gun violence and shooting and women twerking and guys selling drugs and taking drugs, obviously that's going to have an effect. Yeah, obviously that's hip hop music. Obviously that's going to have an effect on the community. That's going to have an effect on the youth. So 100%. I think that if we just clean the world, right? Say if we, how it works is like this. If we just fully clean the world of all negative influences, meaning that no one is promoting negative influences, that there's only positive things that's actually being promoted. There's still going to be negativity.
Obviously, yeah.
Because human beings are in a fallen state. So it's how we perceive things, right? So you can be in the most, think about this, right? People that are born with a silver spoon in their mouth, white picket fence, a little dog, 12-bedroom house, big old mansion, nice cars. Life is fine. They don't have to worry about anything. They don't really have to struggle. But they always find something to complain about and things to worry about. So even when life is going real good, nigga, girls wake up mad. Like, why are you mad? We don't even think about it. It's just negative emotions, right? You feel what? So that's the emotional state of human beings. So I would say that it would definitely help if we cleaned up the negative influences for sure. But I do think that you still have to find God. You still have to seek a higher power. You still have to find meaning other than the things that's just on earth. So you have to find meaning within things other than the things that's on earth. You have to find meaning with things that's above earth, which is with God. Because if you're only looking for meaning with things on earth, then, I mean, it's going to be too thin to handle suffering. It's going to be too thin to handle suffering because everyone suffers. So even the person that was born rich, white picket fence and all of that stuff, he's still going to suffer in some way. Because he's just like, oh, well, I'm not happy. I'm depressed. He's still suffering with the things on earth. But if he finds meaning outside of earth, you're more likely to handle suffering.
That's what's up. Hey, I got a weird question. I just thought about, and I just wanted a broader range of opinions. You know what I'm saying? Just the type of topics I talk about on my podcast. But anyway, in my city, I really don't see no homeless Africans. Have you you see it's a lot of homeless Africans where you live at? I say that to make this point.
Okay.
The opportunity.
Homeless black people.
No. Homeless Africans, people that come from Africa,
okay, homeless Africans.
Africans, regular Africans.
You know what? I mean, the only homeless people I be seeing, I don't really see no homeless Africans, man. I can't really say.
I literally just thought about that. I don't know where that came from, but I was thinking. I was making. I be tutoring kids. You know what I'm saying? I try to make the analogies of how tough life really is for some people. You know what I'm saying? We do have our own struggles, not to downplay them, but how you were saying earlier about weaponizing yourself or being a victim, we can't play that, especially not as black men. We cannot play that victim card, because if you play that victim card, you're always going to be approaching life from that victim standpoint. I say that to say that they come over here with the smallest amount of resources and things like that, and they be excelling over here in our country. You know what I'm saying? A foreign country at that. And
the Mexicans too, and the Cubans.
That's crazy, man. I just think that's a wild thing to think about when you really think about it. All the Africans that then came over here, no offense to them and nothing like that. Not saying that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah,
they utilize the things the resources they have at their disposal. That's crazy that we be living in America, got all type of programs and stuff like that we can go utilize, and we don't even do that. We rather cry.
Don't even utilize it. Most of the black people out here, and all people out here that's born in America, most of them, they're a product of their perception, meaning that they think that their perception, the way that they perceive things, the way that they view life is everything. They just live in their own box. So, oh well, this person looked at me this way. Negative. Oh well. Oh, my job is I got to wake up early. How they perceive things is all wrong. Andrew Tate said something. He said that people got their language all switched up when we use what Andrew Tate said. He said that people view things as, oh, I have to do this. Or I have to get up and go to work. Oh, I have to, take care of my kids. They running around. Oh, I have to, drive in this car and be in traffic. Their language is messed up. He said that change the language and you'll change your mindset sometimes. You get to go to work, because if you didn't have a job, then you wouldn't have any money. You get to, wake up every morning and say hello and kiss your beautiful kids. You get to do things. All of these things that you get to do is a blessing. It's not that you have to do it. People look at things as a burden, like, oh, I got to do this, so it's such a burden. No, that's looking at the glass half empty instead of half full. It's nonsensical. This is what creates that victim mindset, is negative emotions. And women normally have this. Women are higher in trait neuroticism, which means that they feel more units of negative emotions than men do on average. But that doesn't mean that men aren't neurotic. No. On average, women are just more neurotic, but there are neurotic men. And those neurotic men, they suffer from that victim mindset. They always looking at the worst case scenarios of everything and thinking that the glass is half empty instead of half full. They live in this victim mindset instead of a victor mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Do you really think, my theory is I really don't, and a bunch of people are gonna be like, yeah, bro tripping, but my theory is, I don't really think people went to the moon. You think people really went to the moon and landed on the moon for real?
Yo, man, I'm gonna be honest. Certain things I don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about because it won't benefit me.
Right, I understand that too, but no, I want to know, like, just in general, like, would you not even spend no long time? You think I
haven't thought about it too much to really come to a conclusion. If they did, niggas did. If they didn't, niggas didn't.
I say that say like more of a scare tactic. You know how people try to rope you in, you know what I'm saying? Oh, tell them we did this so they can think we conquered this so they won't be as scared of it. I think that's more so, you know what I'm saying?
Could be.
That's my, you know what I'm saying? I don't spend a lot of time thinking about that, but I have had discussions, especially with my fiance. We ain't got that time,
you know, I may have like certain... I haven't really thought too much of it. Like moon landing is, I could just say like, all right, my nigga, if you did it, if you're saying you did it, I don't really care too much about it currently. So I don't think it's really impacting too much. I can't think of anything where it's really impacting everything in society. So it's like, my nigga, go ahead, claim it that you landed on the moon. I did like watch many like documentaries and stuff disproving the moon landing. I watched some of them, and it's like, oh, I see what you're saying. I see how it could be fake. I see the motivations even behind it being fake. I see the motivations, just like you said, behind it being real, like for power and stuff like that. So, but
I just asked that because you seem to be a logical guy, and like I said, that just ran across my head a couple times.
Yeah, like if I thought about it more and did like research, I could come to a conclusion on what I truly believe. But for right now,
we'll never really know right now, so it really don't matter. Yeah, but let me ask last question. I'm gonna go. What would you say to the person who like those real extreme religious Bible thumpers who like he's hypercritical and shit like that? Excuse me, things like that. And run people away from, you know what I'm saying, the vision of what God, because you know there is a vision that we have put in, or that's put in order that we are supposed to follow. A lot of people be so hypercritical, they be turning people away from, you know what I'm saying. They say, what you got to say about that, if anything at all, or do you
so
believe
what
that?
I say is, I mean, I know what you're saying, and it could be a thing. I look at it like this. If I'm speaking the truth and you can't receive it, then you have the
But you don't think it's a way you should deliver, especially if you got the wherewithal, you should be able to deliver the message in a way where a person can receive it.
I'll say it two ways, right? If you speak in the truth and the person can't receive it, they have the weakness. Now, there's other ways that you can sell things, right? Like say if I'm trying to, it's all sales. So say if I know that my hat is better than yours, right? And I want to sell you on my nigga. Where this hat? Where this LA hat? That hat you got on?
My cowboy hat raw now.
My cowboy hat raw. It's cool, but just listen to the analogy. It's cool, but I need to sell you on this. I could just give you the facts. Nigga, my hat is better. It was made with better material. This material is authentic. Your material is synthetic. I could say all of these facts, right? And then it's like, okay, this was the truth. If you don't want to hear the truth, you still have the weakness. right? Now there's just other people that can sell a little better. It's like, yo, nigga, all the chicks love this hat right here, bro. Your junk cool, man. Your junk's wavy, but yo, I mean, this is new junk. Everybody wearing it. Chicks love it. I walked into the club one time with this on. Like, I say things that maybe can relate to you, right? I sell you in a way where it can relate to you. It's relatable, where you can digest it a little bit more. And then it's like, oh, okay, dang, maybe I will buy that hat. That's the same thing with these Bible thumpers and people trying to sell people on Christianity and other religions and stuff like that. You know, at the end of the day, it's still the person that has the weakness. Because if you given the truth, no matter how you given it, it's still the truth. If you don't want to accept the truth, it's just like, okay, you're not going to accept it. And then not only that, sometimes it don't matter what you tell people or well, it's no matter what is the truth, but it doesn't matter how you say it. Sometimes people just ain't ready to hear it. The timing isn't right. So it's like, you're better off if you're a man of faith and you're trying to preach the gospel or get someone to be more, to influence the masses to be more biblical, to take the biblical perspective. Then it's like, bro, just speak the truth. Like, don't be so hard on yourself. Speak the truth. But if you want it, like, for example, truthfully, I'll tell you the reason why I did this podcast. I'm going to wrap up here soon, too. One of the main, the baselines of doing a podcast, because I knew certain truths about the world. So it's like, okay, I'm going to do a podcast and bring on men and women, bring on chicks, and I'm going to talk to women. And if I can influence, and what are men attracted to? All guys, we want chicks. We want a whole lot of chicks. We want to know how to get the chicks that we can't get. We want to know how to get them chicks, right? So it's like, if I could tell men about the truths of women nature and about the order, God over man, man over woman, woman over children, if I could have these girls on a podcast and show them in 4K, like, bruh, they delusional for the most part. These modern day women are delusional for the most part. These modern day, their expectations don't adhere to reality. Now, if you could see these truths that I'm displaying on a podcast, it will open up like a little bucket for you. Then it's like, oh, okay, now you're going down a rabbit hole. You're like Neo in the Matrix, following a chick that had the rabbit tattooed on her. It's like, bang, let me follow this rabbit. Then till you finally realize it's like, oh, wait, like there's a hierarchy to things. Like God over man, man over woman, woman over children is really a thing. And it streams from, which is facts, our biology is just different. Now we're better together than we are apart. Is not saying that men are better than women, but it's just saying that no, men have a role and they need to know their role. And women have a role and they need to know their role too. So, and I truthfully did this podcast to then sprinkle in a little bit of Jesus every now and then, sprinkle in a little bit of God every now and then to get people closer to God. Truthfully, I admit it all the time. But
no, I shook my head because it's crazy how similar. Like, not trying to sound like you, but I took the music route, talk to artists, interview artists, try to get the big names like that, stuff like that. Because I know that's a huge influence. I try to get my message of, you know what I'm saying, what I believe Jesus is and everything like that. Because it's not the traditional, go to church every Sunday and everything like that. But, you know what I'm saying, long story short, that's why I start my podcast too. But what are you essentially are saying is that you put the onus on men in general over women.
Well,
like who would you say, like, the onus currently? Who would you say is the bigger problem to deal with, the women or the men? I say the men because we the leaders, and obviously the responsibility has to fall on us. But a lot of people would say these women so lost, like they just lost.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of weak men. I look at it like this: human beings, we both have agency. So men and women have agency, and agency just means that you are responsible, which means that you have some authority, and which means that you must take accountability. Right. So with that being said, both men and women need to be accountable. The reality of things is that as men go through life and we make mistakes in life, we feel the consequences of our mistakes instantly. Right. When women go through life, they don't really feel the consequences of their mistakes instantly because there's always a simp to save them and to coddle them and to lie to them. And to say that, hey, girl, you beautiful, even though you're 300 pounds and you 5'4". is to say that, hey, girl, like chicks don't have to be smart. They don't even gotta be beautiful. They could be below average. And they still have options. They still have a guy that's going to accept them for how they are. But men, we have a burden of performance to perform, which is the reality, right? So we have to get out there and be assertive and be ambitious and go ahead and make something out of life. Women are born with their sexual value. Men have to create their sexual value. So that's the difference between the sexes. So it's not to say like, anyone is better than one another. It's like we live two different realities.
Facts.
The woman's reality is always going to be coddled.
It's always. We know that. Yeah, that's crazy. But there's a lot of simps out here too.
Which is the reason why the order is that way. Because women don't really live in reality. Like they don't. We actually live in reality. When we make a mistake, we feel the consequences for every mistake as a man. That's just how it is.
So would you say that's a more sort of effect from so many men being raised by single mothers and stuff like that, or you think? Matter of fact, I ain't even get that. I know you said you gotta go. I can go. I can
go on and on. I got
a while.
you, brother.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you up tonight, bro. But I appreciate you for having me on. If you get some time,
of course,
check out my podcast, bro.
Okay, all right. Plugged In Entertainment Podcast, man. Go check him out. All right, brother. Have a good one. Okay, chat. Yeah, man, I ordered some Five Guys, and Five Guys close at 10, but they stay open a little bit later to like 10:15. So it's right up the street. I'm going to need to go get that. But we got people in here. Dang, obstacles to opportunities. Let me bring you up real quick. My brother, yo, let's run this next week on Wednesday, man, because I got to go. Next week on Wednesday.
But you see, I got Vegeta on the table. I don't got him on the forehead. So shout out to the brother though.
Yo, shout out to Vegeta and the brother. But yo, man, I'll bring you up next week on Wednesday. Just you'll see it come up.
All right, it's calm. I had something too, so I had some heat for you. So yeah, all right.
So save the heat. Let's do next week.
All right, I'm gonna save the Gatling gun for later.
All right, brother. I got the Kamehameha ready. No worries.
All right,
peace. All right, we got Straight White Male, and we got okay. Let's see if I could. I know you had a question, Straight White Male. Let's see if your audio is good. I'll answer that one question. I got like a few minutes to spare to get to your one question. What's going on, man? You had a question, right?
Yeah, bro. So, I mean, I don't think we really have time to get into it now if you got to go and stuff.
Yeah, I got to go.
Week, bro,
Come back next week, man. We can get into this topic a little bit more deeper and everything, brother. But I appreciate the support.
Absolutely, bro. Big fan, by the way.
Appreciate it, man. Hey, yo, brother, where you from?
California, man. I'm in Georgia, though.
Oh, you in Georgia?
Yes, sir.
You a hater? You got points of contention? What you got? You got smoke?
Nah, man. I love everything you're doing, man. I was gonna say I know you got to go, but I was gonna say that I like what you do. I think you should get in touch with my pastor. I don't know if you've seen him, but his name is Geno Jennings.
Geno Jennings, yeah, I've seen some of his content before.
Man, he talk real good. Same thing you talk.
Yeah, he don't believe in that Trinity either.
Nah, because it tell you right there in the book. People say, "Oh, you got the three," but he also say they all agree with each other. They're only one person. And I seen that with Mr. Do It or whatever, the bald dude, nasty work, man. That dude weird.
He said nasty work.
yeah, man. The word game.
Yo, that was old too. That was like 11 months ago. My team just reposted it. That wasn't new, man. That was literally my first debate I ever did. So I wasn't even good at debating. I was still eating, but I was like, I wasn't good at the linear lining things up properly to really execute. But
I feel
it
like
is what
it
is.
Well, man, because people today, they like the word games. They want to play, and if you're gonna really help somebody, the best thing is to put the mirror in your face. Out of respect for you as a person. Because I was telling my sister that earlier. I want to see you grow, but if you're always worried about the next person and you're not putting yourself first, you're not putting God first, you're not putting yourself, then you always gonna have these problems.
Key thing is you want to tell people what they should do. Other people are telling people what you should do. So if you know what's true, you do want to tell people what they should do. But yeah, man, it was a lot of little wordplay and stuff like that where I wasn't calibrated enough to understand, but I never folded on anything. I was like, yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But all right, brother.
All right, brother. Peace, man.
Have a good one, man. Come back in next Wednesday, man. We'll chop it up more.
Wonderful, man. All right.
Peace. All right, chat. Let me get to y'all super chats, and we're gonna go ahead and close down this stream. We got Jose sends in $2. LGBTQ is the devil's work. Targets the weak mind and kids. That is true. Daddy's Girl says in $10. Why would a man living with a woman not marry her, but give her his children and not his last name? Please tell me it's not about what he may lose financially when God considers marriage honorable. Yeah, well, Daddy's Girl, the thing is that marriage doesn't agree with it doesn't coincide with the law currently right now. So marriage is it's a biblical thing, but the laws aren't biblical. The laws is of the devil. The laws literally incentivizes women to divorce the man. So until the laws catch up with marriage, I'm sure a lot of men will be like, okay, let me go ahead and sign this paper. But there weren't, if we're speaking facts too, there weren't any documents that you had to sign back in the day. So it was spiritual. If you bed that woman, you wed that woman. Okay, we got Slow Flow Binya. I think I said that right. Says in $5. Cooley, do you believe the Bible in its entirety? If so, could you break down Issa 45, brother? I enjoy your content. 100 EO in the building, North Jers. To answer your question, I mean, yeah, I do believe the Bible to be true, but that doesn't mean that a lot of things that's in there is like it's to the T, but it's a lot of wordplay in there and stuff like that, where it's like, I wish it was a lot more simple. Like if it just said, do this, do that. And it truly does say all of these things too. Here's what you should do. Here's what you shouldn't do. Here's what happened if you do something that you shouldn't do. Here's what happened if you do something that you should do. So it is pretty plain and simple. So as far as that standpoint, yes, I believe everything. It's a 45. I am the Lord. I am the Lord, and there is none else. From the light and creates darkness, I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all things. What does this mean, Cooley? Okay, got you. So you want to know what that means? Yeah, that just means that God created everything. God is the light. God is the Alpha, the Almighty. Like I was having the discussion with the young brother, I think he was the first caller. He said that, well, if God created everything, is God really all good because there are evil? No, that just means that evil is what you choose to do, right? And evil is what other people choose to do. So if people choose evil, evil may come upon you. If no one ever chose evil, the thing is God gave us free will, and free will is love, right? So the thing is, if people never chose evil, then evil wouldn't be on anyone. That's the fact. So it's not that God doesn't choose evil. God is always good. God always chooses good. But it's that human beings choose evil. But all right, cool. I'm out of here. Let me go get my 5 guys. Tune in. We got an episode this Friday with, I believe, 4 to 6 ladies on a podcast. So tune in. That's going to be around 9:30 p.m. this Friday. Then we're doing another open debate night next week on Wednesday. I may even do one Sunday. Hop in the Discord, y'all. If y'all want me to do, because I do have time. I don't be watching no football. But if y'all want me to do some live debates on Sundays, I'll do them on Sundays too, man. So let me know if that's what y'all want. Hop in the Discord, which is, I believe, the 5th link in the description, and let me know if y'all want me to do debate nights on Sundays too, because I'll do them Sundays and Wednesdays. I give y'all 2 debate nights per week. I don't mind doing that. But all right, man, we out, and Thank you for supporting the channel. Peace. Actually, Gabby, you done. And you want to leave too? This is how our relationship goes. God over man, man over woman, woman over children.